Andy,
fast forward again.
did we even come back? You were dead so quick.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, we didn't come back.
no, I gotta put in your death.
No, you don't.
Your smug death that you making fun of me and how bad I was. No, this comeuppance is good. I'm happy with this. I'm happy with how this turned out.
Well, that's true. Gradius, I think, was either 87 or 86.
That felt a hell of a lot faster, didn't it?
It sure did, because you only have 600... Well, you did miss a lot of hearts, though. It did feel really short, though.
Did it? I feel like I went through like 2 segments of shit before.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's weird.
Maybe it's dependent on how many people, how many enemies you take out. Yeah. Oh, wow. Wait a minute, really? Oh, wow, that's it.
As long as it doesn't squandage it.
No, the snake can't hit you right there. He's not going to squander it at this point. Nothing can hit him.
Okay, that's dumb.
And now he thinks he's dancing to the music, trying to keep up with it.
I'm trying to keep beat.
But the snake can't hit you anymore.
I suppose that's true.
Just fire as quickly as you can. There she is.
I got you!
Is that...
I felt like I hit her a hell of a lot more times last time and I didn't kill her. Wait, that can't...
That's
Really?
it.
Thank you, Pit.
Thank you, Pit!
Alright, which ending do we get?
We're not...
Palutena.
There's like Farmer, there's...
Oh, what is that? What is that hat? He looks
Knight?
Like
I think that's the Knight
He
ending.
looks like a prince. Oh, he is a knight. It's like the feathery hat.
Yeah, I think there's like Farmer, Knight, Guardian, and Angel or something. I can't remember what the things were.
Medusa was destroyed
Oh, wow.
and the light of peace returned to Angel Land, but in order to maintain peace, Pit's struggle continues. I'm guessing it would not say that if you got the best ending.
You think so?
I would be willing to bet.
Did you have the...
He had like the Trojan hat on, or the warrior hat.
Yeah.
You were a guard captain.
Ah,
That's what it
guard
was.
captain.
Sorry, in technically there's 5.
5 what?
What would
Endings? We knew that.
Well, how would there be 5?
There, you can get 0 points, 1, 2,
Oh.
3, or 4.
How the hell do you finish with 0 points?
Oh, don't max out your health.
Yeah, basically.
Wow, so no max health, don't get all the items.
That almost sounds harder than
That's
if
a
you got the...
professional run.
Yeah.
And that's how you become a farmer.
Okay, maybe that's the ending.
Then if you have 1 point, you get a basic guard.
Okay.
Then 2 points, you're promoted to guard captain.
We
so
were
you get the
guard
helmet and
captain.
spear.
So we got like the halfway mark.
At 3 points, you're a full angel.
Ah.
And then with the best one, like, she kisses you.
Ah, Paul!
And then a bunch of other angels appear when she kisses you.
We're gonna be playing this again.
Signifying babies.
We're gonna be playing this again.
You might be playing this again.
Yeah. No, we're gonna be playing this again.
Honestly,
It's not as hard as people claim it to be.
no, and I kind of liked it.
Yeah, I did too. I think it's actually, I mean, aside from the fact that the controls on the last level are pretty god-awful,
They're pretty abysmal.
the game itself is very unique. It's very,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the stuff they did was really, like, seemed like I feel like this is the perfect counterpart to what Metroid was. Metroid did what it did, and it was like the first one to do that, and it feels like Kid Icarus was the first one to do that, like with the ascending levels, and kind of your
sort of.
your progress was both straightforward but upwards as well too.
Yeah. So with this session, it was about 50 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So the last session was 2 hours 40 minutes, which gives us a total of about 3.5
hours. Not bad.
Not bad at all. So Kid Icarus in the bank.
In the bank.
Nice. Game 229.
Wow.
Yeah, honestly, I know this game gets a reputation for being extremely hard and unforgiving, but to be honest, it's...
The only thing that's hard about it is
not.
the eggplant wizards. Everything else is like...
The eggplant wizards aren't even hard.
They're annoying.
They're just annoying, and they're they're inconvenient.
Yes.
Is what it is.
Yeah.
Because then it just forces you to have to go
Find
back,
the medical room.
find the medical room, but you are defenseless while you are trying to find it, basically.
Yeah. And well, I suppose we might as well get right on into it then, because we're gonna get into this anyway. Is what would you give Kid Icarus for a difficulty?
So this one, I don't even know. I'm kind of. Maybe you'll have to sway me, but I am literally sitting between a 5 and a 6, because I don't know if it's necessarily middle of the road, but I don't actually feel like it's a 6 either.
You actually you took the words right out of my mouth. I kind of think
I can't lean one or the other.
I'm gonna lean more towards a 6.
Okay.
Because there are very tricky elements to this game. He does not control the greatest.
No.
And I think just because it's the problem with most of these games is it is so front heavy.
Yes.
Where your life bar is so tiny at the beginning, and the fact that they throw you in the vertical ascending stage right out the gate, that you can die within seconds by just hitting the bottom of the screen. Like, if they had started the game side-scrolling and then gone vertical, apples and orange, or this would be so much different.
Yeah.
It would be middle of the road easily.
Yeah. I think, honestly, what people may not catch, and why this game gets a harder difficulty from people's perspective than it really deserves, is because in games, you are not trying to take out every single enemy you encounter. You're just trying to survive. You're trying to make it to the top, do what you need to do. With this one, it forces you, in the very early levels, if you do not stop to
just
try
grind.
to grind every enemy that you possibly can, if you don't do that, this game will become exponentially harder as you go on. However, the first level is that exponentially hard part, but if you grind and you get strong enough, then you're gonna find that the rest of the game is actually almost a walk in the park.
I don't know if I'd say walk in the
I wouldn't
park.
say a walk in the park, but I mean,
It's definitely a hell of a lot more tolerable.
How fast did we go through the third level, though?
Yeah.
The third area, outside of the fortress, of course.
It kind of helped, too, that we weren't really looking for anything.
No, we weren't, not at that point.
We didn't really have to go indoors. We didn't have to grind out enemies, which would have made it harder. Mm-hmm. We're basically just trying to finish the stage because, and we were so powerful because we had the fire shot, the distance thing, and the rotating crystal things.
Oh yeah,
so it's like we were basically fully decked out.
Mm-hmm. Although you don't even get those fully decked out things at the very end of the game either, though.
No,
like the last level, you don't.
They
get to
seem
use them.
kind of pointless because you lose them for more than half the game.
Yeah,
you do.
You don't get them in the fortresses.
At the fortresses and at the last level, and you could get them stolen from you.
Yeah, those
more
weird
of a
little
detriment to
thieves
hold
could
on.
take
Yeah,
them.
they're more of a detriment to be able to hold on to them.
Yeah, I mean, granted, you can buy them back, but and then there's just even getting some of the power ups. Like we were only halfway power. There are 5 power ups to your shot. I don't know
only
if
at what 3?
3.
Yeah.
I don't because there were those rooms with nothing in it. Remember, we had to get a certain GDV to unlock those rooms, which the game doesn't really tell you about.
Tell you that.
I mean, the instructions kind of allude to it, but
I think it's also your score on that particular level. It's not your total score.
well, it's your score, how many times you were hit, how
How many shots you take factors into it.
oh,
yeah.
right.
There's an
right.
entire there are breakdowns that people have for it, but like everything you do is part of a hidden second score that you don't see.
Yeah.
That affects whether or not Zeus will show up in those rooms to challenge you or to give you the power ups.
That's crazy to me.
It is
absolutely crazy.
That's really weird. But I think we've settled on a 6.
I'm
gonna go 6.
I'm happy with a 6.
I am
'Cause,
too.
Like I said, I don't know if it's necessarily middle of the road. It's not like a casual player will just be able to just kind of plow through this their first time. But at the same time, if you stay persistent with it, and
Yeah.
you just kind of get used to the game, it's not hard.
Well, and it's also pretty forgiving because if you die and start at the beginning of the stage, you don't lose any of the items you
You
use.
lose none of the items that you've acquired at that point.
Not
you
to
only
mention your
basically-
password keeps all of them.
You basically only lose what you have acquired on that particular stage that
Yeah,
you died
so
at.
it's-
Passwords.
It's
Yeah.
very forgiving.
Infinite lives, essentially.
Passwords, infinite lives. Yeah, I don't know how.
And in a weird way, those medicines, or the water of life, is basically an extra life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
So, I mean, yeah, it's pretty forgiving in that sense. The only way you can really die is from a pit, but even then you have
You have
feathers.
feathers, and we only used one of them.
Yeah. So I honestly feel like 6 is about right.
Yeah.
It goes out. So then we'll move on to fun. I mean, we've kind of already started going into that, but honestly, I think the game, for its time, it's a prototype Metroid. But it's also...
I would not call it a prototype Metroid at all.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
No.
Because until this, nothing... Or until, like, Metroid, nothing really went up and
Oh, I see
down,
what you're
left
saying.
and right.
Yes, that's
like
true.
Mario's
Yeah.
left to right, other platformers left to right, and you couldn't go back. Which this one
though-
didn't go back.
But I don't necessarily consider it a Metroid, because Metroid, you could go up, down,
Right.
left, right, anyway. Although you could do that,
do that-
kind of in the fortresses.
The fortresses felt like Zelda. This felt like a
fortresses felt like
side-scrolling Metroid Zelda fusion.
But the actual levels and like your ascension through the level, but then you also had
Oh,
the
yeah,
horizontal. It honestly felt like they took Mario Brothers,
Yeah.
the linear of Mario Brothers, and just said, okay, well, we're used to going from here to here. How about we just move it up and go from here to here? Like that's
Right.
like literally all it was. I don't consider this a Metroid in that sense.
I do.
I think
just
it's more
on the fact that it's side-scrolling.
I
'Cause
think it's more the Zelda.
You can't call it a Zelda because Zelda was top-down. This isn't top-down. This is side-scrolling. That's where Zelda. That's why it feels more like Metroid. But it also feels like a Zelda in the fact that the dungeons are kind of plotted that way.
You can plot them out that
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
It feels like a mix between the both.
Well, either way,
Honestly-
at least where I'm sitting, I think I would just echo the 6. I really did.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I definitely gave it more kudos than you did.
Well, you know what though? Actually, I completely forgot. I am probably gonna boost it up to a 7, just because of the fact that there are multiple endings in here, and it's
I'm
based on
actually
what you
gonna
can.
go with 7 myself.
Based on what you can get, I love that fact that you can actually have a bad ending, a bad plus ending, a good ending, a good
Yeah.
plus ending. It's basically, I mean, it's essentially what Konami ended up going to for the Silent Hill series.
Yeah.
As a slight correction, Metroid did come before this.
Did it really?
The Famicom Disk System was August 1986,
Right.
and this Famicom Disk System was December 1986.
Ah.
Oh, so by months.
Yeah,
So,
so
but they were
Metroid
probably both in
They were probably
didn't develop at
They
the
were
same
probably
time,
developed at the same time.
roughly,
Yeah.
because some of the same team worked on both of them.
which you could tell because obviously Metroids were in this.
And then
And some of the sound effects almost sounded kind of Metroid.
And then
you
as
wanna
far
know,
as-
you want to know why? Is because they were both hip to Naka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then as far as NES, for us, it was July 1st, 87
Yeah.
for Kid Icarus, and then
Metroid came out the same year.
August of 87. So
It's funny because
That's weird that this would come before Metroid here, but in Japan it was Metroid before this.
Well, it's funny. Actually, grab Metroid off the shelf.
I'm wondering, if there was more translation stuff
Is-
that had to be done, or more work to.
I don't know about that, but it's just people always lump these two games together, and this is why is because you've got the Metroid Silver Box right here, and Kid Icarus is Silver Box.
Yeah.
No other games actually did that Silver Box except for I think
really.
maybe Rad Racer.
Yeah, no.
Rad Racer had a Silver Box, but everybody always thought that these two games were like
Well, not that style. So there are a couple other silver boxes, but
they're not the actual Nintendo.
Konami tended to put them in silvers.
They're not, yeah. But they're not. No, but Nintendo.
the way this is.
Nintendo always did around this time. They did the black box games.
Yeah.
Castlevania
Hence why
and all
there's
them up there are gray boxes. Yeah,
That's it. Those are Konami's.
yeah. So yeah, it looks like a lot of like. Konami was a gray box.
So I think that they were designed, developed by the same team. They came out around the same time, so it's people always lump those two games together as
Yeah.
Icarus and Metroid.
yeah, I could see that.
But yeah, I would give the game a a 7 for fun. It's exploring
It's not bad.
Exploring the fortresses is actually really fun.
Yeah.
You kind of wonder, like, what's around every corner, and every time you are scared to death is
Those
if there's
damn
an
eggplants.
if there is an eggplant wizard
Yeah.
on the screen, like, oh my god, what do I do?
Like, granted, it gets a little repetitive with, the rooms that are nothing, and then when you did turn into an eggplant 3 times and had to go back 3 times, it's like, all right. It would have been cool if you had been able to buy, like, an item that once you turn into an eggplant, it would just get rid of it. Mm-hmm. Almost like a portable healing thing.
Yeah.
Like, you could only carry one.
Yeah.
And then it went away. You have to buy it again. You know what I mean? Something like that would have been neat, but, I mean, there's, for the time, there's actually quite a bit of items you get in this.
Oh yeah.
And I do like the fact that the weaker you got, the less items you had at your disposal. It's kind of an interesting mechanic.
What I loved, as far as a mechanic goes in this game, is the credit card. You can literally buy stuff on a credit card, and it literally said, okay, if you buy, you can put this much towards it, but guess what? You're not collecting hearts until you pay off that credit card. It's like, oh my god.
It's a clever idea.
What a way to teach kids how credit cards work.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm dead serious, though. Although it doesn't work that way.
No.
But
It's nice too because like as you're collecting hearts after you use it, they don't go towards your thing. You just collect them, and it just keeps tallying behind the scene.
it keeps zeroing out.
It's a cool idea.
It was a neat idea that I don't think I've ever seen in another game.
Not really.
At least not on the
that
Nintendo.
I can think of. Because most games are either you can buy it or you can't.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
this was a cool thing to be like, all right, you have 1 heart and you need something that's 200 something.
The only
go.
thing, the only thing I can think of that's even like marginally close is what was the sequel Zelda that you could rent the items or buy them.
Link Between Worlds.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that comes close.
Yeah, I can see that.
And that
And even
was,
that's like-
even that was what, 25 years later?
Yeah, so
But I mean, I even as a kid, I played this a little bit, but I don't think I really appreciated it. Playing through it now, I appreciate all of the things they did. I didn't realize how deep's not the right word, but just how much there was to it.
How much depth?
Yes.
It's not deep, but it's just there's depth to it.
There's just a lot more to it than I first thought.
Yeah.
Having the manual was cool. It was actually nice to look through that manual because there's a good chunk of lore in there.
Yeah.
Like the story's actually pretty good.
This was the golden age of gaming because not only did you get a really good game, but you got the story that already had all this lore and legend about it. And you could just use your mind to read through it, play the game, and then you basically had an even larger world at that point.
Yeah, like the items you would get make sense. The shop, like all the shopkeeper things make sense. Like just there's a lot to it that I never knew, and I really appreciate
going
this now.
into a room and hoping like, okay, is it going to be an enemy or like a series of enemies? Is it going to be a shop? Is it going to be like, am I going to get something good?
Yeah,
like,
is it the guess the vase thing?
Yeah.
That's why the credit card thing was kind of cool because it's like you could feasibly stumble upon it. Like if you just happen to get lucky enough to know where it was going to be.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It was. This was a lot more enjoyable than I first thought.
I liked it. And I think that I feel like I had expectations going into this game of people always think that it's super difficult.
Yeah.
And I want to say that this game is kind of a black sheep in the sense that people don't really say many good things about it.
Not at all. But I think the common gamer doesn't get past the second screen.
Yeah.
well, but that's because there's already that the perceived it's one of the NES hard games, therefore it's and there's there's already that kind of bullshit type like rumor built up. Yeah, and how many other games have we played where it's got like Silver Surfer's another one where it's got the stigma of it's one of those hard games, but then if you actually sit and play it and look at it, it's not.
It's front heavy and it just takes a lot of memorization of where things are because things always spawn in the exact same places.
But the NES is so odd because you have those games like Battletoads where it has that stigma of being extremely difficult, but people have fond memories of it.
Yeah.
Like getting to the Turbo Tunnel and that was it. How many of us as kids even got past the turbo tunnel?
Maybe, and see, and that's what I'm saying is do people have the fond memories of like playing this game, making it to the first fortress? Because a lot of people remember the Eggplant Wizards.
Oh yeah,
and that was where their experience stopped. Or maybe it's because even back then they didn't know that there was those healing rooms.
Yeah,
and so they thought, oh, that's it. I turned into an eggplant. That's it. Game's over.
Yeah, maybe.
Or game over or something like that. Well, then if that's the case, you just die and then you start the level again. But yeah, I guess I don't understand where it came from or why. But
I wonder how much of it started because magazines used to call it really hard. And then once the internet came around,
of course,
all of a sudden you have all these
video game nerd and the irate gamer.
Well, even prior to them, like on old game forums, this was known as a hard one.
Was it?
Did AVGN even do anything on this one?
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that the irate gamer back in the infancy of YouTube, he was like probably the highest profile gamer on YouTube. He did Kid Icarus.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
but
like I said, the music's okay. It's a little bland. But I mean, how much can you expect?
He did it. AVGN did it, but it was 2015.
Oh, okay. So he did it more recently. Yeah. So honestly, I like the music too. I think the music. It's none of it's grating. Although, ironically enough, the music from the title screen is the most grating.
Yeah.
But then once you actually get into it, it actually feels like it feels like I'm playing a Metroid game.
Yeah.
And so the music was like, it didn't grate on me. But it was forgettable, but it was enough to be enjoyable while you're playing through the level. It hit that sweet spot.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I did enjoy it more than I thought I would.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, so that's 6 for difficulty, 7 for fun. Paul, what did you pay for Kid Icarus?
So Kid Icarus, this one I remember fondly when I ended up getting this game. I got it in a lot of 10 different boxed NES games.
Damn.
And they were all complete, except for Dirty Harry, actually. Or no, except for Terminator. Terminator didn't have the instruction booklet. And if anybody out there remembers the days of eBay and when they used to put who, like, the bidders and stuff were, like, they used to have their names. Nintendonitis, if anybody knows who Nintendonitis was or is, or if Nintendonitis, eBay user, has is watching us somehow, I'm sorry. I was the one who beat you for that lot. Back in the day, Nintendonitis was buying everything under the sun Nintendo, and when I saw that he was after this lot, I was worried, and somehow I still ended up getting it.
Damn.
But all 10 games, almost complete, for $110. So I paid
That's not bad, about $12.
Or no, it was 11 games for about $110. So I paid about $10 per game.
Not bad.
So,
not bad.
So for Kid Icarus,
It's actually
complete box, instruction booklets, even the baggie and stuff like that. So I got it for about $10.
Pretty good. So as of this video on pricecharting.com, Kid Icarus for the Nintendo goes for $24.25.
Interesting.
Paul, would you say that's worth it?
It doesn't take me long to figure this one out. Yes, it is worth it.
Think so? For $25?
For $25, it is worth it. This is a classic Nintendo game, and I honestly think that you are going to get your money's worth out of it. If you are a fan of the early games like The Legend of Zelda, Metroid, Super Mario Brothers, this kind of combines all of those into one game.
Yeah, kind of does.
And you really get a unique experience.
I think it has a bit of replayability too, to try and get the different endings.
Mm-hmm.
To see if you're good enough to get that farmer ending where you don't get anything. You don't max out your life. You don't get any of the power or max out your power-ups. I mean, this would be a fucking challenge.
And I honestly feel like this game hit that sweet spot too, where it's like the game never felt like it was going on too long.
No,
where
it was perfect.
You did the 3 worlds at 4 levels in each one, 3 levels and then a fortress, and then level 4 is just
that flying segment.
Medusa. It's just a flying segment.
Yeah.
At no point are you like, oh god, they're doing this again. Like, all right, we get it. Get on with it. It's just. Honestly, it felt like it was right in that sweet spot.
3 fortresses was perfect.
Yeah.
It was honestly pretty. It was right on the nose as far as I think one more Fortress would have felt like it was too much.
Like it was too much. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I'm actually I'll agree
Honestly,
with you. It's a little pricier.
It's on the expensive side, but at the same time, like I think that just because of the history, and the association, and one thing that the series doesn't really get enough recognition for is it is one of very few series. Gargoyle's Quest also has that distinction too. Mm-hmm. You have 3 different games in the series, and they are on 3 different platforms altogether. You have Kid Icarus on the Nintendo, you've got Kid Icarus of Myths and Monsters on the Game Boy, and you've got Kid Icarus Uprising, which took 20 years to develop between Myths and Monsters and that was on the 3DS.
And that was a pretty good reboot.
Yeah. So I
did a very good job with it.
I really feel like Kid Icarus could have been one of those standout, like, landmark IPs of theirs, along with Metroid and Mario, and it just seemed like it didn't. They never kept with it in order to make it one of those iconic pillars of Nintendo.
Yeah,
but it had all the makings to be.
I mean, he kind of is, because they wouldn't have put him into Smash if they didn't think he was iconic.
Yeah, but still, to this day, we've only got 3 Kid Icarus games.
Yeah, I mean...
So I find it very ironic and funny that Kid Icarus, or that Pit, that
even Palutena's in it.
They all made it into Smash Brothers, but it's
like Pit I can understand. Yeah. But Palutena, that one surprises me.
That one surprises me.
She's at the very end of the game. You don't even know who she is unless you have the instruction booklet.
Like, and for all intents and purposes, like you said, it took how many years for even Kid Icarus Uprising to come? So, like, it's been out of the spotlight for 20 years.
20 years since Myths and Monsters.
It's not like Mega Man where it's just constantly barraging you with titles.
Yeah.
Like, it's 3 titles under its belt. Like, it's an infant.
Yeah.
As far as gaming goes. So I don't know. I kind of agree with you.
Did they ever put Arthur into one of the Smash Brother games? I know they put him into Marvel vs. He was in Marvel vs. Capcom, but it's because I mean the Gargoyles Quest series is just the same. Where it was Game Boy to Nintendo to Super Nintendo, and that's it. And we have not seen a game since, and unfortunately, we haven't seen a new Kid Icarus since then.
No, we really haven't.
So,
even though I think a lot of people would. I mean,
I think they would enjoy it.
I think so too. Even if they brought Uprising to the Switch. Which actually kind of brings me to my point. If you...
To be honest... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Honestly, if you don't want to spend the $24, if you have the Nintendo Switch Online for... God, it's like $20 a year?
Yeah, it's
for like the basic one.
Yeah.
Kid Icarus is on it, I'm pretty sure. Isn't it?
The Nintendo game?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely it is.
You can play it on there. Or, I want to say is it on the Nintendo Classic? NES Classic?
Yes, it's on the Classic as well.
Play it on there. So I think that's...
There's a lot of different ways that you can play it.
There's a lot of ways to play this game if you don't want to shell out the money for the Nintendo version.
Hell, it may have even been on the 3DS eShop as well, too.
Oh, probably. Yeah. I wouldn't doubt it.
They did Nintendo games on there.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, this was a surprising hit.
I think it's worth it, and especially since it gets that bum rap, and it just makes me want to love it more.
That notoriety of being difficult.
But honestly, it was a fantastic game, and it surprised both of us with how much fun it actually was.
I mean, as terrible as I was at it at the beginning.
Yeah, you were.
At least I kind of redeemed myself in a weird way.
By finding the blind spot of the boss?
I powered you through it, and you found the blind spot. But that's okay.
Did Paul find the blind spot?
Nope, I sure didn't.
Nope. In fact, he died exponentially faster than I did.
And it's Paul. Even if you'd have found the blind spot, you still would have walked into the enemies.
I got us through the hardest part of that game.
Yeah,
World
really
1,
did.
The Underworld.
You really did. You pulled us out of the Underworld, and then I was able to do it once I could take more than 6 hits.
Yeah, exactly.
But there you guys go, Destiny. There you go, Kid Icarus, man.
Yeah, I hope you liked it, Destiny.
This was fun. I did like this one.
Oh yeah,
that was a good suggestion.
Yep.
So there you go. Hit us up on Facebook.
Hit us up on Twitter.
Go to powertripgaming.tv. It'll take you directly to the channel where you can watch us plow through the rest of the NES collection.
Yes, you can watch our side quest material where we tackle games that aren't the NES, like the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Sega Saturn, and everything else in between.
If you don't feel like contacting us on social media, you can always shoot us an email at nespowertrip@gmail.com.
And don't forget to check us out on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify for our PTG Powercast.
Yes, sir, boy.
Yeah, so that'll do it.
Next time on Power Trip,
we'll try to play something better.
Give it a shot.
Maybe.
Might fall in a pit.
Is it a dark,
Ha-cha-cha-cha-cha!
is it dark pit?
Ooh, Dark Pit.
Yeah.
Did Dark Pit start on Uprising?
I think
Sure
so.
did.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that game got a lot of cool shit.
I think I borrowed it from you for like a while, and I played it only up to a certain point, and then I just stopped.
Because the way it controls,
Yeah,
that's
I think
one of the big
so.
turn-offs for that one.
I think I lost interest because of it. It was so hard to control that
Yeah,
I was
it
just
was for me
like,
too.
nah, I can't do it.
Well, shit.